I'm Nancy Miller, the Associate Publisher at Bloomsbury Publishing, and David Byrne's and Maira Kalman's proud editor for their beautiful new book, American Utopia. And I want to first thank Barnes & Noble for hosting this launch event and to thank all of you for being here. Welcome. I couldn't be more excited to introduce two of the people in the world I admire most. David Byrne, former Talking Heads frontman and multimedia visionary, and revered best-selling author, illustrator, and artist, Maira Kalman. David and Maira are old friends, and this book is their joyful collaboration featuring words and lyrics from David's hit Broadway musical, American Utopia, now an HBO Spike Lee film, and gorgeous four-color drawings by Maira, which she created for the Broadway show's curtain. Together, the text and art offer an inspiring celebration of the connections between us all, an antidote to cynicism, a salvo for kindness, and a call for jubilation, bursting with humanism and hope, a balm for the soul at this unprecedented time from two of the world's most extraordinary artists. Before we start, I want to invite you to submit your questions via the Ask a Question button, which is located right below the chat key. And we have a really fun event for you tonight because David and Maira are going to have a mini cooking segment as they attempt to make David's famous green sauce and Maira's potato pancakes as they talk about American Utopia. David and Maira, over to you.
Yes. Yes.
Here we are. All right.
Well, here we are.
Here we are.
Okay.
Here we are.
And we're good.
Welcome. Welcome to our kitchens.
Yes. We're both in New York, but we're very socially distant.
Right. We're always distant. But we decided that we would, because of American Utopia, and I have to hold up the book. Here it is, American Utopia. We decided that that cooking dishes from other places in the world is actually an American utopian kind of thing. So David is from Scotland, so of course he's teaching me how to make salsa verde. And my family is from Belarus, so I'm going to teach him how to make potato pancakes, a logical pairing. So we begin with David. David.
Okay, so yeah, I'm going to start because some of my stuff needs to go in the oven, and it can go in the oven while Maira's teaching me how to prepare the potato pancakes. And so I have a bowl of chopped tomatillos. Here's what a tomatillo looks like. It looks, and it has a kind of husk that you can peel away.
You know that a tomatillo is really a cousin of a gooseberry.
Yeah, it's not a tomato.
Not a tomato, just in case, yeah.
It looks like a big gooseberry,
yeah.
But very sour. So it's a very nice thing. So in here is also one onion. There's an onion, but chopped up a little bit, but not finely chopped. A couple of garlic cloves and one jalapeno pepper. Chopped up in there. And now I'm going to put them on the kind of thing, you know, an oven pan. And I'm going to put them in the oven for.
You put any oil on them?
Yeah, I put oil in there. Sorry, yeah, I put oil and a little bit of salt on there.
And I have, the recipe says a 450 oven.
Wow.
So that's
good. I'm going to turn mine up then. I'm going to turn my oven up because it's at 350. Let's turn it up to 450.
450.
Oh, yeah.
And that'll be in the oven for about 15 minutes or so. And then we do stuff to it afterwards, but that David will show us. But
yeah,
should we do the potato pancakes?
So you can also do this where you cook all this stuff in a pot with water. You can just boil them and kind of parboiled stuff that way and then do it. But I think if you roast it like this, it kind of intensifies the flavor a little bit more than that. That's the science part here. Okay.
We're being very scientific. So should we go to the potato part now?
You betcha.
So in our family, it's a very simple recipe. It's Idaho potatoes, peeled.
I'm going to peel them now.
And it's always nice to have a little, it's funny because I can't use a peeler for a potato somehow. It doesn't feel right. And you know, I don't know, are you famous for your culinary expertise?
No.
Neither am I. And you know what? I mean, I am not a good cook. My daughter is a really great cook. But, what?
Why is a peeler not appropriate for a potato?
In the army. But I peel a cucumber and I have to, rest for a few hours. So this is very challenging.
Oh.
Actually, for me. No, I wish I could cook. I really do. Because I do think that the essence of people being together around a table and talking and laughing or not talking, in my case.
I agree. People can really bond over food. I don't know anybody who doesn't feel comfortable talking a little bit about food. And everybody has an opinion about it, but nobody's wrong.
Wow, it already smells really good. What's in the oven? The onions and it already smells good.
Oh, that's good.
So now what we do.
You can smell my oven from there?
Yeah. I had a special hookup made for tonight. So are you potatoes peeled?
They're peeled now.
You have your grater?
I have a grater right here.
You need a grater. And be careful of your fingers. You know, you don't want to have blood all over your potatoes. I use the finest side of it.
Oh, the finest side, okay.
Finest side, yeah.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, look, it's going to make so much noise we can't talk. I wonder if anybody could hear us. But at any rate, we couldn't do this ahead of time.
We could have, but then people might have thought that we actually weren't doing any of it.
I wonder what Jacques and Julia would be saying now.
I can grate a potato and look at the laptop at the same time. Sort of. What happened?
Anything to say while we're grating the potatoes other than this is a lot of fun to do.
Okay, what do you do when you get down to the nub of the potato and you're worried about grating your fingers?
It's too dangerous.
Dangerous. I agree. So you just stop?
Yeah, you just stop. And you have to kind of bang it because you have potato in there.
Wow, that's nice. Very nice.
And then you kind of, scoop everything out with your hand and maybe knock it.
Well, I have another potato. We're doing 2 potatoes, right?
I couldn't hear you.
We're doing 2 potatoes?
Yeah, we're going to do 2 potatoes.
Okay.
I mean, normally you would do 20 or 30 if there were like 4 people, let's say, in my family. But we're going to make it faster tonight. And have you ever made this before?
No, I've had them. I like them. But I've never made them. Do you believe every culture has a kind of flat, kind of fried, pancakey type thing?
Yes, and I was just watching this series called The Restaurant, where the lead character seduces a woman with making her a plate of rosti, and rosti is basically a potato pancake.
Wow.
So there might be some seduction going on somewhere.
Yes.
Or there could be. Now you know.
Out of frame here.
Now you have the tools. To seduce.
Okay, so I'm going to try and tell people about the gestation of our book while I'm doing this. Is that crazy? Maira and I have known one another for a long time. We did a book together. Oh, when was this? In the 80s, was it?
It was 1985, 86.
Yeah, we did a book together then.
Recently.
And we worked together on, you know, record covers and different things like that. Went on with our other things we were doing. And then I was doing this show on Broadway, and a director who was helping me out, Alex Timbers, said, you know, David, you can ask for a drop curtain. A curtain that covers the whole front of the stage and has some image or painting or something on it. And I said, really? I can ask for that? And he said, yeah, go ahead. And he showed me some sort of placemat or something that he had. There was a picture of kind of the mythical characters of America. So there'd be like Paul Bunyan up in the Northwest, and then there'd be Ichabod Crane or whoever, yes, and John Henry and whatever, just all over. So, and I thought, oh, I like that concept, but I went to Maira and said, what do you think of doing this drop curtain? And he said, yeah, but not that map thing.
Right?
Good idea.
That's what I said. She said, no map.
One aspect of the map thing survived. There are town names that you put on that drop curtain.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you saw the show. It was really one of the great shows of all time, and you can see the movie, the Spike Lee movie on HBO.
Thank you. The drop curtain, as Alex pointed out, is the first, in a way, it's like the preamble to the whole show. Yeah. People are sitting there for 15 or 20 minutes or whatever, waiting for the show to begin and talking to their friends, and they're looking just straight ahead at this very large image. And that's kind of, that introduces them to the whole concept of the show in a certain kind of way. There's nothing, you know, it's not telling them what the show is about, but it gives them a little bit of a hint in some kind of way. And so that's what he said, you know, this kind of, it's almost like the show begins when you sit in your seat, even before the curtain goes up. I thought that's a nice idea.
And I agreed.
Yes.
Yeah. And it really is, you know.
And we were off.
And we were. And, you know, then we, you know, it was really great because we both have visual libraries that are constantly flowing through our lives. And it was amazing to be able to say, well, everything is part of this world and everything is part of America. And what do we love? And it really approaching it from a point of view of loving people and not being sarcastic or cynical and not saying, you know, it's really, you know, from a humanistic point of view. And so there's humor and there's madness and a skewness, but I don't think it's ever mean. I know it's never mean. And so I think that sensibility really is a wonderful thing to be part of because, you know, you really do look at the positive things that are going on or try to find them. Shift your vision because it's a very nerve-wracking time, I must say. So cook a lot.
I got this grated potato. What do I do now?
Okay, now, David, the grated, what's it in?
It's just sitting on a cutting board right now.
Where's your bowl? Your bowl, it's supposed to be in a bowl. Okay, put it all in a bowl. Wow, how do you do that? That's interesting. Now, what you have to do with the potato, it has a lot of water in it. So you have to kind of extract the water. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to lift up the bowl and show you how I'm doing it. Oh, you're still doing that?
Water extraction.
If you have a spoon?
Squeeze
Ah,
it.
pressing it. Okay. All right.
And let the water come out. Squeeze it some more.
You don't have to get every drop out, but
Potato juice.
and so we do it with a spoon,
Oh,
pressing it into the potato.
I'm sorry, I'm just mixing it.
Any way that you can do it is fine. Are you done?
I'm getting some water out of here. It's amazing how much is in there. I can feel it running between my fingers. Potato juice, potato juice.
So translating the show into a book was also a wonderful experience.
Yes, it's not, as someone has written, it's certainly not a literal translation. It's
Yeah.
not, oh, here's
We
the
don't like
entire,
literal things,
yeah, we're not doing it that way.
but a poetic evocation of our lives.
Okay, I've got a lot of water out of here. What goes
I
next?
think, yeah, and you don't, yeah, you, if you got most of it, that's fine.
Uh-huh.
How do you feel?
I feel fine. My hands are wet with
At
potato.
this point, it's a little bit, now the timing is a question. We can do, let's go on. So we put about a tablespoon of flour into the potatoes. Not too much, just enough to kind of bind it a little bit. I have a not big spoonful.
Little spoon of flour.
Yeah, just sprinkle some, and the egg,
Now I'm going to stir that in there.
and some salt.
Salt.
If you have, and I'm not a great pepper. Anyway, you can use pepper if you like,
I like that.
and mix it all up.
Doing the pepper. What about the egg? Where's the egg go?
I put the egg in it. Yeah, put the egg in it.
Did you do that already? Okay, here we
Yeah,
go.
throw the egg in and mix it. Oh, look, it's all over me.
Here we go. Here we go. Okay.
Okay. So that's basically it. That's the mixture. Some people like to put onions in it, but in our family, we don't believe in that. So now we're going to heat up as soon as David's ready with his mixture.
Binding the pieces. An excellent binding job.
If you do say so yourself. I need a little bit more flour here. I mean, I guess, and people who do this, they really know. I may not be giving you the exact proportions, but we'll survive.
Or there may be viewers who are going, oh, that is not right. That is not right at all.
Right. Okay, now heat up your oil in your frying pan.
I have a question.
Yes.
One frying pan has a kind of sloped edge and the other one has a steep edge.
I think you should, I think you should use the smaller one, the slope edge. Yeah.
It'll be easier to get a spatula in there.
So I'm going to put it on, medium.
Medium with some vegetable oil.
With a goodly amount of vegetable oil. The Eastern Europeans are not afraid of frying. So there's a price to pay, but
Okay.
there's a lot of complaining after dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay.
Aha! That's telling me that my roast stuff is almost ready.
Or we might have dueling things going on. So as soon as the oil is hot, you dollop in like a spoonful, like a big soup spoonful in. This isn't even big enough. I need a bigger one. Here. So you
Put a spoonful in just to see what happens.
you put a spoonful in when when the oil is hot enough, and you put a spoonful in, and you kind of fill the pan. So the pancakes will be around this size, about this size, right, like that.
So you mean, oh, it should be pretty hot by now.
David, you're going to be Hanukkah comes. You're going to be so ready.
Yeah, that's okay. So I'm going to put a nice spoonful of dollop in there.
Is it very hot?
Well, maybe it should have been hotter, but it will be okay.
It should be really, you know, fry up. I mean, the first one, I guess you can say, was a tester.
Okay, so that size, I can use this kind of spatula. While you cook away. Now, this is, while this one is cooking, can I take the stuff out of the oven?
Yeah, it's 20 minutes. Yeah, we should take it out of the oven.
All right, count my timer went off. So,
Very exciting.
oh yeah, that smells good. Okay, so this, it's all kind of roasted, very hot, and we're just going to put it all in a blender, all of it.
Turn off the oven.
Oh yeah, well, I couldn't do that. But
And you're just putting it right into the blender.
right into the blender, hot, 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 hot. Don't hurt yourself.
Then you have oil. Our timing is impeccable.
This is going to be good. Okay, so I'm going to turn the oven off. Be careful. I'm going to put a lid on this blender.
I'm going to,
I'm going down here.
what are you doing?
We're getting there. The grease is getting, this oil is getting nice and hot. We're getting some crispy edges.
Now I'm putting mine in a small Cuisinart because I don't have a blender. So I hope that's okay.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't, it's really hot, so don't let it splatter.
Right, I have a cover for it.
So now,
But don't forget there's oil heating up in the frying pan.
oh, mine is already cooked. I already have a potato
How
pan.
many did you make?
I have one in there.
You can put a bunch in, but I guess now you're ready for the, you turn it and then you flip it over, obviously, or not obviously.
I'm going to put another one in. Mash that down a little bit.
Mine are sizzling and
Yeah, this is.
I'm going to do probably 3 at a time,
Okay.
4 at a time.
Yep. Hotter is going to be better. Okay. Now I'm ready to do the blender.
Blender,
Here I go. It's going to get loud.
where you have to plug it in.
Oh yeah, I got to plug it in. I didn't do that. Part of the chef's manual. Plug in the stuff.
Wait, what did you say? What?
Oh, I don't know. Did I mention
That's
cilantro?
a cooking joke. So, and now,
Did I mention cilantro?
and it's about 2 cups of cilantro, right?
Yeah. I don't quite have that amount, but
Pre-chop it or you just throw it in?
you just throw it in and keep blending.
Okay.
So it gets blended in with the other stuff and it adds to the greenness. The flavor.
I'm going to wait till you're done with yours. Mine is too full.
That's done. That smells good.
Also,
That's the
our family, we don't, somehow nobody knows how to use a spatula. So we use a fork to flip the potato pancakes. Mine aren't ready yet. But you can use a spatula, David, that's okay.
Oh, one of my pancakes is coming out really well.
And then what do we put into the, after the cilantro? David,
Yeah.
now what do we do after the cilantro? There's lime juice?
Little lime juice would be really nice. That's a good idea.
I happen to have some ready here. And maybe a little bit of a quarter cup of olive oil.
You're way ahead of me.
Yeah.
Taking a peek at this recipe.
Whoa, this is the first day that I'm using this thing. Nice.
I don't see my line. That's okay. There it is. This is
Isn't everybody happy we're not talking about books, but we're talking about
okay, so
okay. And so in Epley, so David, I've added lime juice. Should I add some olive oil?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'll do the same. A little olive oil. I think we might have to give it a one little thing on the blender. So get that.
Potato pancakes? Nope, not yet. Okay.
Pancakes are doing really great. I think.
And did you say a quarter cup of olive oil?
That much? Okay. Okay. I'm gonna take one of these pancakes out. Wow. This one here is.
All right.
Ooh, get another pancake going here.
So I'm just adding olive oil, and are you up to that part?
Now that that's done,
Okay. I think mine is ready.
I think mine is too. I'm gonna,
But that's funny. It has to cool down. But you know what? I guess it doesn't matter.
it's very hot. I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit, and then I'm gonna just pour it into a container so we can put some on the potato pancakes, and some will be left over for the refrigerator.
What are you going to do now?
For tomorrow.
All right. All right. Mine are crispy on the edges, so it's time to flip them over.
Yeah, mine are doing fine. I got one here that's crispy. Oh, look at that. It's very pretty. I got some brownness all the way around. Can you see it?
You made a very big one, unless it's just close to the camera. I can't tell what size yours is, but I guess it doesn't matter. And sour cream.
I got it.
So that's what you would do. You would just keep making a bunch of them in the frying pan, and then until you're done.
Yep. And here's the Byrne. Oh, there. Oh. So, yeah, the salsa verde is kind of.
Have any assistant setting? Yeah. Can you tell? So, and you have, well, you have a plate ready for to put them on when they're done.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I got a plate with a paper towel to absorb a little bit of oil. Should I put the sour cream on the top?
No. I mean, yeah, yes. You're not, well, you put it on the plate. Yeah. You eat them while they're hot. And you can either put applesauce on it or sour cream or both. But in our case tonight, we're using sour cream and
Salsa verde.
famous green sauce. So it's a nice way to marry the cuisines. I think we're supposed to say that the books are autographed by us and are going to be on sale or are on sale in Barnes & Noble. And you can buy them 24/7, which is a funny thing to say. In the middle of the night, if you wake up and you need to buy a book, that could happen. Anyway, so.
Wow. Oh, so and and they will be delivered to you
in the middle of the night.
in the middle of the night.
And
Pick up your books here.
get up, you lazy idiot. Okay, so
this book that we did does not take a long time to read. It's more of a thing that kind of have a mood to it, or an ethos or something that seeps out of it, rather than being something that you have to kind of furrow your brow and kind of do all that. So you can return to it, I think, if you need a little bit of that in your life.
you need a respite from all of the stuff that's surrounding you. I have to also say that the collaboration, this was a family affair, and that Alex Kalman who is a distant relative, the editor and designer of the book. So we were able to yell at each other with abandon. We had a really incredible time, and hurrah for collaborating with people who you love.
Alex Kalman and I think some collaborators of his have a very small museum here in Manhattan.
Called Museum.
It's called Museum, and as all museums should be. And it's very, very small. It's in, but there's a surprising amount of in there, and you can actually spend a lot of time in this museum, although it's only as big as an elevator.
It is an elevator.
It is an elevator.
It's an elevator shaft.
Yes.
You'll be very happy you went. It's social anthropology, object journalism, the lives we lead. What do you think? Are you ready? Oh, you know what you could do? I mean, if you want to drain the potato pancakes, you can put them on a paper towel and kind of let them de-oil. But we don't need to.
I did that. I have them on paper towels. De-oil.
Yes, just kind of little.
I'm going to put a little bit of salsa on this one. There, look at there.
Lot them. That's enough. Sometimes you just need oil. All right. So you're putting on the sour cream first, and then the salsa.
Oh, gee, I don't know. Look, I put salsa and then sour cream, and it looks quite attractive.
Does it?
I
Well,
think.
that's good to know. Well, we're gonna eat one now. It's gonna be amazing. And then I think we're ready for, what time is it? 7:33. We're ready for questions, I think, while we try this. Now in cooking shows, they try it and they go, oh my God, this is fantastic. And we don't know what's gonna happen.
Hey there.
Hi.
That looks so delicious. I wish I could have a bite of it too.
We're gonna be there in a minute for everybody.
Good.
All right, I'm gonna eat mine. David, are you ready to eat yours? Are you ready to taste it?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. I think I might have to slice off a little piece here. So if it's a little hot.
So how is salsa verde with a latke?
It's actually quite good.
Oh, good.
We're in a new pairing here. It's really good.
I'm going to try it. It looks too delicious.
It's really good.
Have you two cooked together in person ever?
No, we constantly cook together. No, we never cook together, and I never cook, so
Oh, okay. So this is really an event tonight.
very little.
Yes.
And maybe there's some questions about the ingredients or the methods, but go
Well,
ask.
I just want the recipe at some point, so I'm going to make sure you give it to me. So, it occurred to me that Maira, well, the book came together right before the pandemic. And you and I, Maira, had a chance to sit down together and go through things together. And then there was lockdown. And so David, this is actually the first time I'm ever meeting you.
Hey, that's funny.
We've had back and forth by email, but this is, you know, here I am in your kitchen.
Welcome.
But one thing that occurred to me while I was looking through the book is that it feels so prescient. You didn't know there was going to be a pandemic, but the book celebrates the connections between us all, and at a time when we're mostly apart. And I just wondered how do you account for that? How did that happen? If you can talk while eating.
I'm guessing that those concerns, those issues or whatever, they've been in the air for a long time. And I'm going to say that we were just feeling that. And this is the pandemic, I think, has brought those things to a head. They were always there, kind of sometimes hidden behind a curtain a little bit. And the pandemic pulled back the curtain and allowed us to feel and hear things and think about things and see things that we maybe had kind of glossed over before. And maybe in Maira and I working together, we were kind of touching on some of that stuff, what some of our hopes might be. And
I have the text from the book is really amazing, and as you say, Nancy, so prescient, because David writes, despite all that has happened, despite all that is still happening, I think there is still possibility. We are still a work in progress. And you know, when you feel that you don't you don't abandon hope through difficult times. You don't give in to despair, and you find and you kind of change your lens again, looking, not being realistic, but looking at the world and saying, you know, what's good that's going on here, and what's good that's coming out of bad, which is always the case.
Yeah, no, it feels that way. I have a question from Marcia.
Nice to keep eating. This is really
Please keep eating.
really,
I have the Stay Up Late book you did together. Oh, what was that, Myra?
We're going to open a restaurant and only serve this. So
Please, yes.
go ahead with the question.
So Marcia asks, I have the Stay Up Late book you did together years ago. Is this the only other book you've done since then together?
Yes.
yeah.
Yes, we've done, certainly have done other books on our own, but this is a beautiful, and we did that book when our children were little, and now we're doing this book when we have grandchildren. So it's a quite extraordinary, even though we look so young, it's quite extraordinary to think of this cycle of life and how we're basically reasonably the same people.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit less neurotic. I don't know.
David, this is from Jordan. Were there songs that nearly made the cut for American Utopia, and why didn't they fit?
Yes, there were extra songs. The Broadway show evolved out of a concert tour, and the concert tour I talked less in that context. And so it was longer and there was less talking, so there was more songs. But I knew that or at least I felt that for Broadway, it should be, I kind of set the goal at like 100 minutes. No intermission, 100 minutes. And there was going to be talking. So a lot of songs had to come out. But that was actually good. We could use the songs to kind of tell a story, to build things incrementally and sort of introduce this is what we're doing. People could see, this is what we're doing. See, now we're doing this, and now we're doing this, and now I'm talking about this. And so you see what the kind of world that we're putting in front of you, and we hope you like it, because soon, you know, it's going to be activated soon. And yeah, we missed some of the songs. I think all of us, each of us as the performers, and probably Annie B, the choreographer, with the particular songs that we feel like, oh, I really missed that one. But I think the length we have is really, really good.
Yes.
Another bite.
Take a bite. David, this is from Aaron. Since you moved to the US as a child, how did that impact your understanding of what American Utopia means? And I did want to ask about the title. Can you talk about that a little?
What does it mean? Well, I think everyone understands that it's not proclaiming that we live in a utopia, hardly. It's kind of saying, what can we do to get us closer there? We know that it's unreachable, it's an impossible thing in a utopia, but what does this mean to us? What does it mean to us to be together and live together and do things together? What does that, how does that feel? So I thought, okay, we can represent this in songs and on stage and how we act and the imagery that we put forward in the drop curtain that Maira did. All those elements kind of help establish that sense of what is it? What would we like? What would we like our lives to be if we could make some changes and make them different? If things were a little bit different than the way they are, what would we like? And so it doesn't give answers. It's not prescriptive, but I think it kind of opens up the idea to like, we're allowed to think about this. This is something we can imagine.
Yeah, and the title alone just feels so hopeful. What is your, both of you, what is your hope for the American Utopia book as an influence on people who read it?
Well, it would be lovely if people were engaged in this kind of poetic, dreamy, connected world where, again, your brain is free to roam and wander and make connections. Nobody's telling you what to think. Nobody's telling you what to do. So it would be nice if people felt inspired to be themselves, because that's the only thing you can be. So that would be a good, in my opinion, that would be a good outcome, assuming they're reasonably good people. But let's say they are.
Here's an interesting question to both of you. Many artists are acutely in tune with the senses of the times. Does this take a toll on your psyche, either of you?
I'm an escapist in a major way, and I shift my vision to walking and reading and listening to music, not being that engaged with the news, and sometimes not at all engaged with the news, because you're going to hear about it anyway. And to find the things that really make you happy is of course everything is fraught and nerve-wracking right now. But the antidote to that is to do the things that you love and be with the people that you love. So and there's always terrible stuff going on. It's not as if we've invented it in these last few years. So the human spirit prevails and you just have to do your work.
I don't feel that I'm any more sensitive to all of what's going on than anybody else. I mean, I think like anybody else, there are mornings when I wake up and I go, oh, this is not good. But then, we keep going, do what we're doing. And I think it's, as artists, we find a way to kind of counteract that in some ways. Maybe partly for ourselves, and then partly we hope that it might have the same effect on other people.
That makes sense. That makes sense. David, what did you think? This is from Brad. What was your first reaction when you saw American Utopia, your performance as captured by Spike Lee?
I didn't see it until there was an edit, and I loved it right away. But my surprise was immediately I realized I've never seen this show. I've never looked at a video of it or anything. I've never seen it. It evolved. I kind of knew what people were doing behind me, but I'd forgotten about it. And now I suddenly became aware of, look at all that stuff they're doing back there. And I'm completely oblivious. I'm, yakking away or singing or whatever, and people are doing all these things. So it was very exciting for me. I was seeing it for the first time.
I was so blown away by that film, and it amazed me how well this book, which really isn't the show, completely captures the spirit of what you did in the show. Well, here's a lighthearted question. What I loved, you mentioned the place names that appear on the show curtain, and you really have some great ones like Thunderbolt, Georgia, Lizard Lick, North Carolina, Two Egg, Florida, maybe my favorite, Cream Can Junction, Idaho. How did you choose those particular place names?
Well, I had, there were many iterations of the curtain, and one of them had so many cities that it was overwhelming. But the way that I found those was just to go, as everybody does for their research, to go on the internet and look at names of cities and look at the map and just find amazing places that are real, that are real places in this country, and give a kind of this goofy ridge. And I think that it gives a kind of, there's no place like the United States for names and vernacular. There's no place in the world besides, and really this is the only place in the world that plays with language so intensely and so wonderfully in every single way, from a donut shop to to a dry cleaner, to the name of a town. So it's very inspiring and it's encouraging. We can all move to Cream Can Junction. Is that what it's called? Cream Can?
Yeah, although I think I might pick Goofy Ridge. That was a great one too. Maira, the illustrations are so stunning, and some of them are clearly based on the show with the gray suits and the bare feet and the dancing gestures. But how did you think of the others in relation to American Utopia, particularly the ones that are so saturated with color?
Well, I have a big photo library, and I take thousands of photographs and collect thousands of photographs, and it's all a landscape of people trying to live their lives. I always think it's heroic to get out of bed in the morning. So, I'm amazed that anybody can survive from morning till night. And so having said that, everything is up for what evokes a kind of pathos in you and what evokes a sense of humor. And, from a dog wearing a birthday hat to people dancing, to people crying, that is just a vast landscape. I have no lack of material. I could do 10 more curtains with all new material and not repeat. So I'm just looking. It's basically my job.
I love it. I love it. I think you sort of talked about this when you were cooking, but Nate asks, how did you two meet? And also says, this is a delight. Thank you.
I'm so glad it's a delight. David, how did we meet?
We met through your husband, Tibor.
Right.
And Tibor was a designer who really artist in his own right, and we, Talking Heads and myself, worked with him on a number of projects, on film and on record covers and all kinds of things. And at some point, Maira did some drawings that became part of some of these record covers and things. And so that's how we met.
That's how we met. And we lived across the street from each other, by the way.
Yes.
And so there was a lot of, especially the kids going back and forth and feeling very happy to sit on the stoop. So there was a nice familial part of our relationship, as well as a professional relationship.
Yeah, not at first, but eventually we lived across the street from one another just about, and which was really nice. We'd see one another all the time.
That sounds so nice. Jack asks, Was there any symbolism behind being barefoot for the American Utopia performances?
Yeah. At some point, I opted for suits for us to wear. I wanted us all to be dressed alike. In a certain way, one's individuality comes through more when variations like whatever clothes people are wearing are kind of eliminated from the equation. And I thought everyone would look kind of attractive in a nicely tailored suit. But I thought I didn't want us to all look like business people totally, like come out in big clunky black shoes or something like that. So I thought, let's offset the seriousness or formality of the suit with bare feet. And it also gives a sense of being connected to the ground, being somewhat vulnerable in a way. All those kinds of things. So there was it was meant to create a balance with the suits.
I love that juxtaposition. Do you still have the gray suit?
Oh yeah, they're in storage. They're in storage. We hope to come back to the stage at some point, so they're all in storage.
We hope so, yes.
They really don't want us to wear them because if we spill things on them or soil them, then that's a stage outfit. You can't just go buy another one.
Ethan asks, what has been, for both of you, what has been your way of taking care of yourselves throughout the pandemic and the other turmoil that we're experiencing right now?
Maira, you want to start?
I cry a lot. That's my response to everything. Just crying. But besides crying, as I said, I walk a lot, and that is a salvation for the soul and for the brain and for everything. So that's one of the ways that I'm taking care of myself, is just taking walks and doing my work and watching murder mysteries at night. I mean, what could be better to forget all of the stuff that's around us and watch a really good murder mystery where it's solved in an hour or so. So I'm taking care of, and I'm reading a lot and looking at trees and painting trees. There's a lot to do when you turn your vision somewhere else. So I'm okay. I'm doing very well. I'm very grateful for the life that I'm leading now.
I do a lot of what we're doing right now. I've learned to cook a lot of things. It's most of the time it's only me eating them, but in a way, that's okay too, because then if something fails or it turns out terrible, no one need know about it. I only need, tell people about the good ones. I don't go for walks. I go for bike rides. No surprise there, I guess. And sometimes I invite folks along, band members or friends, and we go explore different parts of the city. We'll go to Jackson Heights, or more recently, Staten Island. Where else? Greenwood Cemetery. You can't bike in the cemetery, but you can bike to it. And it's a lovely walk in that cemetery.
I love walking through Greenwood Cemetery. This is a question from Ed, but it might as well be from me. Might there be a cookbook in the future?
Clearly, there has to be.
I think so.
We are on it now. We're going to meet later on and start planning the meals, the recipes. It'll be called Bon Appetit or something.
It'll be delicious.
Actually, David, you were thinking of a cookbook, but I think I don't know whether.
Yes, I have, but I think it's kind of, I want to do it as a kind of community collaboration. So I think that might have to wait until after we're out of all this. Have you ever done food illustrations? Food painting?
I did a cake cook. I did the illustrations and stories for a collaboration with friend Barbara Scott Goodman, and we did a cake cookbook called Cake. And I've done paintings of millions of breakfasts, more donuts than you could ever imagine. And I paint food a lot, actually.
Okay.
I love your cake book, Maira. Do either, well, this is for both of you as well. What are your book recommendations? What have you been reading in these months?
Wow. I've been reading a book about mushrooms called, what's the name of it? Well, there's quite a few of them out now. It's about not just mushrooms, but lichen, microbiome, all the kind of things that exist under the kind of network of little cells and strands under the ground, all that. It's really fascinating. I've been reading that. Maira, you want to go? I'll think of it.
I'm in two groups, and I never was in a book group before this. I'm in a Proust group and in a Shakespeare group. And if you want to forget everything and go to the land of salvation, read Proust or read Shakespeare. And then in between there, of course, there are more murder mysteries to read. So there's kind of like the high-low. And I've been reading a lot of Natalia Ginzburg. Family Lexicon is a beautiful book. And a bunch of other things, but it's mostly all Shakespeare and Proust all the time.
That is so impressive. And I like having sort of murder mysteries to clear your palate in the meantime.
Yeah. It's the sorbet in between the main course.
That's great. That's great. And David, do you have any others that you've thought of?
Yeah. I just opened my tablet here. The mushroom one is called Entangled Life.
I'm writing that down.
Like I named Merlin Sheldrake. As Maira's reading Proust, I've been dipping in and out of Ulysses, which I tried to read probably twice before when I was younger, and I found it a bit inscrutable. And now, somehow, for some reason, the idea of the interior monologues and the exterior conversations happening kind of simultaneously or back and forth rapidly, it all makes perfect sense. Before, it just seemed like this bizarre, surreal thing, and now it all makes sense. It doesn't seem strange at all.
It's good at getting older, I have to say. There are some benefits to getting older. And as a relative of Ulysses, there's another book that I've been reading, which is 1,000 pages, one sentence. It's a woman's interior monologue while she's making pies in the Midwest. And it's called Duck's Newburyport. And it's completely brilliant in its Ulysses, but it's really something. And I love it very much. Lucy Ellman is the author, and it's called Ducks, like D-U-C-K-S, Newburyport. So it's 1,000 pages, one sentence.
Wow.
That all sounds completely amazing. Wow. I think this is a good place to stop unless either of you has anything else you want to add.
No, that's great. I got some more potato pancakes to eat here.
We have to go back to eating, but it was great. Thank you
both
all
so much. And thank you everybody for joining us tonight. You know that you can purchase American Utopia, the book, at your local stores, or signed copies, as Maira said, are available 24/7 at bn.com.
Wow, this place is a mess now. Okay.
I'm right over it.
I really love your colors, David.
Thank you. That was a good pairing. I liked it. Thanks very much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.